Welcome back. So hopefully you guys are having a great Saturday out there. It's a late night here. I think it's like 8:30, 9 p.m. Not sure. I didn't check when I turned the camera on here, but just got done watching the Columbus Blue Jackets play outdoors at the Ohio Stadium. So that was cool to see them get the win there. I was out for most of the day, then watched the game, so was not able to cover this earlier on in the afternoon. But it was announced today that Connor Morrell is going to be joining the World of Outlaws Tour for 2025. And I know that Dirt Tracker put out a video last week kind of hinting at this maybe happening. And there was some rumors floating around that it was maybe happening. And certainly it did. Connor Morrell, the 19-year-old driver out of Bradenton, Florida, and he's going to be racing under the Bill Rose Racing banner in the number 28M car. So first time get to use the Connor Morrell magnet, so that's always fun. But so Connor Morrell, he's going to be a teammate, and I got it in quotes, the teammate to Zach Hampton with Bill Rose. So Hampton is obviously the driver of Bill Rose's number 6, and I don't exactly know what is going on here as far as the involvement. And that's, I got the row here on my the third line here. What will be the involvement of Bill Rose with this operation? I do not really know. From the sounds of it, it's going to be all of Connor Morrell's cars, all of Connor Morrell's engines. I just don't really know what exactly is going on. I am very curious to see how it looks at the racetrack. Are they going to be parked next to each other? Does Bill Rose come over and set tire pressures and is making adjustments on the car? How is this all going to work between Connor Morrell and Zach Hampton? And so hopefully, not a ton of attention from Bill Rose gets taken away from Zach Hampton, hindering his efforts as the driver of that, flagship number 6 car, because that would be tough to see. But I am very curious to see how much Bill Rose will be involved with this operation. Connor Morrell currently 15th for the full-time drivers with the World of Outlaws after the Dirt Car Nationals a couple weeks back. He made 1 out of the 4 main events, and he was 26th in that one main event. I don't think he finished the race. If you finish 26th, usually you might be a lap down or two. But right now, he's already kind of starting out behind the 8 ball. He's dead last in points. But with him joining the series, he's now the 15th different driver to be a full-time World of Outlaws contender for 2025. Now, last year for Connor Morrell, only 38 410 starts under his belt. He had 2 wins, 7 top 5 finishes, and 13 top 10s. His wins came in local action at the Butler Motor Speedway in Michigan and the Lernerville Speedway in Western Pennsylvania. And then Connor Morrell, if you did not know, he's actually a former All-Star Circuit of Champions, full-timer. He did that the last year of the All-Stars before it was sold to High Limit. Now we know the All-Stars are coming back. But with the old All-Stars, he was a full-time driver in 2023. He had 23 starts as far as making the A-main out of 45. So he missed about 22. I think that's the math there. 22 shows that year, 2 top 10 finishes in those 23 starts, a 16.9 average finish, and he ended up 5th in the overall point standings. We've discussed it several times on this channel that the 2023 All-Stars had a ton of injuries as far as the drivers go, a lot of car swaps and driver swaps. And so no surprise really that Connor Morrell was 5th in points with only 23 A-main events made. Also in that year in 2023, he had 61 410 sprint car starts, and that is the most he's ever had in one single season. So we know the Outlaws have an 86 race schedule, barring any rainouts or whatever. So this is going to be a huge monumental leap up the ladder here. I mean, it really doesn't get any bigger than that, right? I mean, the Outlaw schedule is the largest schedule in dirt racing unless you're running all 3 of USAC's divisions. So from 61 starts in 2023 to 38 starts in 2024, and now 86 starts in 2025. So going to be a lot of racing for the 19-year-old driver. And I did the math on this, and I did a lot of research on this one before I put it on the board here. But going to be going to 27 new racetracks this year for Connor Morrell, including all the tracks out on the West Coast. From my research, I found that he had never ran in Knoxville, so there's a bunch of races right there. Never ran at Huset's. There's a bunch of races right there. A bunch of stuff in North Dakota, Jackson Motorplex. a couple tracks in Wisconsin. So there's going to be a large learning curve here for Connor Morrell, and we will see how it goes for him. You might remember that Connor Morrell was starting out 2024 as a full-time high limit racing contender. He ran the first 2 races at East Bay. He ran the 3rd and 4th race at Golden Isles Speedway, and then we did not see him for the rest of the season as far as high limit goes. And that is how I actually have his headshot there, his picture for that thumbnail, because he was at High Limit Racing Media Day, but did not make it throughout the rest of the year. Now, I did want to mention this as well. In his career, Connor Morrell has ran with the Outlaws, like been to the track and attempted to run one of their races 15 times in his career, and has only been able to make the main event 3 times. Like I mentioned, one of those was during Dirt Car Nationals. He ran 26th. The best run he ever had was 13th at the Attica Raceway Park in Ohio. So definitely going to be a huge step up in competition, a huge step up in everything, really. And Connor Morrell, you could tell by the World of Outlaws article that was posted, I believe it was by Alex Neaton, that Morrell knows this is going to be a huge challenge. He knows that there's probably going to be some down moments throughout the year, obviously. And so sounds like he's ready for that. And we will see how it goes for him. Down here, as I usually do here on these videos, I always like to mention the driver as far as where they're at on the SprintCarRatings.com ranking system. Last season, Connor Morrell was the 101st driver in their system, meaning by their algorithm or whatever, they think that Connor Morrell was the 101st best 410 driver in the country last year. So pretty far down the order there for Connor Morrell, but if he does make it through the entire Outlaw season, you can almost guarantee that number is going to go up just from the amount of starts that he's making, only 38 last year. So that's kind of the starts, and the wins obviously are huge for that ranking system. So having 86 in 2025, that'll bump him up a little bit there, but 101st after last year. And you can see right there, that is the class of drivers that are racing full-time with the Outlaws this year. There are still some murmurings and some rumors about Emerson Axsom, what he's going to be doing. But from what I heard here very recently, it sounds like they do not have the crew help to go up and down the road and run a national tour this year, unless something crazy happens here within, from now until Sunday and Monday when the Outlaws get back to town at Volusia. But that is what I am hearing right now, that he will not be joining the Outlaws or High Limit due to not having enough crew guys there. So that is your full-time roster right there. Zach Hampton, David Gravel, Chris Wyndham, Hunter Schoenberg, Gio Scelzi, Carson Macedo, Sheldon Hodenshield, Logan Schuhart, Bill Baylog, Buddy Kofoid, Garrett Williamson, Cole Macedo, Donnie Schatz, Skylar G, and Connor Morrell. So 15 guys set to take on the 86 race schedule this year, and it's going to be interesting. That rookie battle continues to get, and the plot thickens more and more with that rookie battle. So we'll see how it all goes for Connor Morrell and Bill Rose. Like I said, very curious to see how this looks at the racetrack when they get to Volusia Speedway Park on Sunday and Monday. Thank you all so very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this late night edition of the Rodman Rundown, and we will be back on Monday, barring any different news coming out. We'll be back on Monday to talk about another driver for a season preview with High Limit Racing in 2025. Thank you all so much for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.